From the Fox 25 studios in Oklahoma City, this is the Fox 25.
This is a good, solid Christian community. We believe in what the scriptures say. We believe that if we're born again, that we'll be in the presence of the Lord when we die.
As governor, I ask for every mom and dad at home tonight that you put your arm around your kid and give your kid a big hug and let them know how much you love them, knowing that we support each other. Tell your friend and your neighbor that you support them and that you will work with them.
At least 26 people are dead after a man opens fire at a small town church in Texas. You're looking at a live look at the Twitter pages of our sister station in San Antonio, KABB. You can see pictures of the vigil just wrapping up in just the last hour from across the street at the church. And in the last few minutes, we've learned that the shooter has been identified as 26-year-old Devin Kelly, previously served in the Air Force. He served in logistics readiness at a base in New Mexico until his discharge in 2010. Law enforcement today say that he was dressed in all black tactical type gear when he went into the First Baptist Church at around 11:30 this morning. At least 20 more people are injured tonight after this horrific shooting. Sutherland Springs is about 45 minutes southeast of San Antonio. As you can see right here, the town itself is described as a small, tight-knit community of about only 400 people. Neighbors say the church typically has about 50 people attending worship each Sunday. Witnesses say the shooter walked into the church service and started firing with an assault-type rifle. As he exited the church, someone grabbed a rifle and engaged the suspect. Law enforcement says that officers later found the suspect dead in a crashed car. Police and the FBI are still investigating if he shot himself or if he was hit by gunfire at the church. The sheriff there spoke today about his community.
We all in here know what happened today, and it's something we all say does not happen in small communities. Well, we found out today it does. We need your support.
The names of the 26 victims killed have not yet been released. 23 of those victims were found inside of the church and 2 were found outside. Another victim died at the hospital. At least 20 other people were in the hospital tonight with injuries varying from minor to severe. The ages of surviving victims range from 5 years old to 72 years old. President Trump spoke today from Japan just hours after the shooting. He said that he is heartbroken and offered condolences. He also said that this is a time for us to come together as a country.
In dark times, and these are dark times, such as these, Americans do what they do best. We pull together. We join hands, we lock arms, and through the tears and through the sadness, we stand strong, oh so strong.
Vice President Mike Pence also reacting today on Twitter, saying, Karen and I send prayers to victims and their families in Texas. We grieve with you and stand with resolve against evil. Thank you to the first responders. Oklahoma Senator Lankford also tweeting about the tragedy, saying our hearts and prayers go out to the victims in Sutherland Springs and that entire community. What a tragic act of evil. Senator Jim Inhofe said on Twitter just hours ago, praying for the victims, their families, and the entire community of Sutherland Springs after this horrific tragedy. Tonight, we've got your back. While we're still learning more about the motive for this mass shooting, one local church saying that they are prepared for an active shooter situation. Fox 25's Sharday Gray reached out to officials at Moore First Baptist Church about their security, and she's live in Moore. Sharday.
Well, Maria, the senior pastor here at Moore First Baptist Church, says that Jesus is a man of peace and that he's not a man of violence, so they try to live by that word every day. But the senior pastor says they've already taken steps to make sure once you step through those doors right there, that your worship experience will be a safe one.
What is considered a sacred place of worship was violated this morning in Sutherland Springs, Texas.
What I've seen many times is, the Lord kind of stands back and allows evil in our world, because he's going to end up proving that he's stronger and better.
Dr. Kevin Clarkson of Moore First Baptist Church says he's overwhelmed with sorrow after hearing about this morning's devastation.
We pray for the families. We've lost a son in our family. I know what loss is, pretty close to my heart, and I run to that when I see it.
The senior pastor tells Fox 25 Sunday's church shooting might be a challenge for some churchgoers.
We're seeing more and more of this in society, and I feel that that's another challenge for the church to share the Lord's word and his gospel, so that people's lives can be lifted out of the ruin and despair they're living in.
A video provided by the Department of Homeland Security in Houston shows exactly what you should do: run, hide, and fight. Dr. Clarkson says they took steps 10 to 12 years ago to make sure their church is secured.
We actually have a professional security service that is at our church on Sunday mornings, and they are not all visible. Some of them are working incognito, and so we pretty well cover real sensitive areas of our church.
Dr. Clarkson says worshiping the Lord in a safe environment is their main priority.
To be ready to protect those that can't protect themselves is a step we take.
Dr. Clarkson also says they have visible signs stated on their door, "No guns allowed inside." Maria, back to you.
Thank you, Sade. And we've got your back with a few more tips from the Department of Homeland Security about what to do in this kind of situation. Like Sade mentioned, run away and do not worry about your belongings. Just leave them where they are. Stop others from going inside a building if you are able to, and call 911 as soon as possible. If you're hiding inside, turn off the lights, lock the doors, barricade them if you can, and don't forget to silence your cell phone. If you can find a weapon, the FBI says that most shooters aren't prepared for victims to fight back. Fox 25 has your back and will bring you updates on this story as soon as they come in. Download the KOKH News app to get alerts sent straight to your phone. We'll also update you on our website all night long. That's okcfox.com, as well as the newest information tomorrow morning on Good Day OK from 5 to 9 a.m. Now we have more breaking news to get to. An investigation underway right now after a man is found shot outside a Metro Walmart and dies. It happened outside the store near Memorial and Penn around 2:15 this afternoon. Oklahoma City Police tell Fox 25 that they were called out to a car accident. When officers arrived, they found a victim inside a crash truck who had been shot. Police say witnesses tell them that there was some sort of fight and the truck sped off and crashed. Now police are trying to put the pieces together.
We do have several witnesses that saw different parts of the incident. They are being detained and they will be questioned and interviewed.
The victim's name has not been released. Right now, police say they don't have a description of the shooter, but they are reviewing surveillance video. Fox 25 is expecting to learn more about this shooting tomorrow, so stick with us.
Well, what a change a day makes. We saw some low clouds, which kept us nice and cool for today, and for tonight we are going to be relatively cool once again, getting down into the mid-50s for low temperatures as those temperatures slowly wiggle their way on down into the wee morning hours. So your low temperature for tonight, 45 degrees for the Oklahoma City metro. That means we're near normal for low temperatures. Partly cloudy skies, though, with those north winds about 5 to 10 miles an hour. That means that dropping your kids off for school will be chilly in the morning. We're never going to really shake off those clouds, but it will be pleasant through the afternoon hours. So picking your kids up right around 60 degrees. Still would recommend a winter jacket, especially early in the morning. You could get some gustier winds, especially waiting for that bus. This is as low pressure has formed just along this stationary front as that cold front has shifted off to the east. This is going to keep a bunch of clouds in for tonight and into tomorrow, but we're looking up to the north and west. This low pressure system from the Pacific Northwest, this is going to make its way all the way through the mountainous west and into Oklahoma. That will bring our next weather maker. Details in your Storm Watch forecast.
Now to a breaking news update. No one was hurt after dozens of firefighters responded to a fire in downtown Oklahoma City in a high-rise building. It happened just before noon near Park and Robinson at the First National Building. People walking near the building saw smoke coming out of windows on the 26th floor. The building is vacant and under renovation. Firefighters tell Fox 25 these high-rise fires require a massive response from firefighters.
We're conditioned for that, and we know that we're going to need extra personnel, and that's the reason for the high-rise response. Once we get there, we know that we're going to have to rotate crews, and it's going to take longer to get those fresh crews up there.
Investigators determined that the fire was likely caused by an electrical problem. The fire caused about $10,000 in damage. New details tonight about a deadly plane crash in northwest Oklahoma. We want to show you some pictures from our newsroom social media tool, Banjo. You see them there. We now know that David Shale is the man who died. OHP says that he was a flight instructor on board when the small plane crashed yesterday evening in the town of Alva. Troopers say the plane was approaching the airport there when a mechanical failure caused it to crash. The plane did hit power lines and some trees before catching on fire. You can see some of that smoke there. A flight student also on board is now in critical condition. New tonight, a man has died after 3 semi-trucks crash in Atoka County. It happened last night just before 9 on Highway 69. OHP says that one truck hit another in the rear and then went around and hit a third semi. The cabin caught fire in the first truck. The driver, Charles Prozer, died this morning. The other drivers are not hurt. Troopers say that speeding is what caused this crash. Tonight, most people living in McAllister have water again after a fire caused a water line break. The mayor says that 28,000 people were without water this weekend, including the state penitentiary. Now, one of the city's 4 pumps is working and repairs are underway for the remaining 3. State prison officials say bottled water was brought to the prisons, but visitations were canceled today. A voluntary boil order is in effect to make sure that there is no contamination. Now on to political news. President Trump is now on day 2 of his trip to Asia. The big topics on the table: North Korea, trade, and national security. Drake Damigella has more on what the president has done so far.
President Trump began his day on a golf course with the Japanese Prime Minister before holding formal talks on North Korea and trade issues Sunday. Trump spoke to reporters before having a steak dinner at a Tokyo restaurant.
Thank you very much for being here. We are in the midst of having very major discussions on many subjects, including North Korea and trade and other things.
Trump also met and spoke with American and Japanese service members at a joint U.S.-Japanese military base outside Tokyo.
No one, no dictator, no regime, and no nation should underestimate ever American resolve. Every once in a while in the past, they underestimated us. It was not pleasant for them, was it? It was not pleasant.
President Trump also announced he expects to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin during his 13-day trip. He told reporters he wants Putin's help on North Korea. That meeting is expected to take place Thursday on the sidelines of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in Vietnam. I'm Rick Damigella reporting.
New at 9, we're hearing from Oklahoma Senator James Lankford about the investigation into a possible Russian collusion in the 2016 presidential election. The White House facing tough questions after charges filed by Robert Mueller against 2 former Trump campaign officials and a guilty plea by George Papadopoulos, a foreign policy advisor for Trump's campaign. Senator Lankford discussed the issue on this morning's Meet the Press.
That is actually no surprise in this. It's the Russians were reaching out, trying to find some way to be able to influence it. The big challenge, as I mentioned even at that time, was an American reaching back and trying to be able to engage with that. That's something that George Papadopoulos told the FBI that he had not participated in, that obviously the Russians reached out to him. He seemed to reach back out to them and to say, okay, sure, I'd be very interested in that. Now the next challenge is, did anyone else from the campaign do that?
President Trump's trip in Asia could include a meeting with Russian leader Vladimir Putin. Trump says that they're expected to hold talks during the Asia-Pacific Summit in Vietnam that's underway on Thursday. Trump and Putin have already met at the G20 summit in Hamburg, Germany earlier this year. Now, new details tonight about allegations that Democrats rigged the 2016 presidential primary. Coming up, what a former DNC chairperson is saying happened behind the scenes before Hillary Clinton won that nomination. New tonight, one man has died after an industrial accident in Durant. It happened at a Cardinal Glass plant off of Highway 70 on Thursday. Bryan County first responders said that they took the man to the hospital in critical condition. That man has since passed away. His name has not been released. The plant makes glass for residential window manufacturers. New tonight, a toddler has died and his mother is in critical condition after being hit by a car. It happened in Tulsa just after 9:30 last night. Officers said that the mother was crossing the street with a 2-year-old and a 7-year-old when a truck hit them. The driver of the truck was taken to the hospital also. The 7-year-old was not hurt. New tonight, more than 50,000 runners made their way through the 5 boroughs of New York City during today's marathon. Shailene Flanagan won the women's division, and it's the first American woman in 4 decades to win the event. Her unofficial time was an unbelievable 2 hours, 26 minutes, 53 seconds. Wow. Jeffrey Kamworor of Kenya won the men's race with an unofficial time of 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 53 seconds. Runners of all speeds say that it is an exhilarating event.
Very excited, very excited. I mean, the atmosphere here is pretty good. A lot of people, a lot of screaming, a lot of cheering. It's just amazing. I mean, it's huge.
It's just exciting to see so many people come to do the biggest marathon in the entire world.
Forever.
Extra security on hand in New York for the event after a man drove his truck into a bike lane earlier this week, killing 8 people. In political news, the revelation that the Democrats may have rigged the 2016 primary outlined in a new book. Donna Beliese's allegations are getting a lot of reaction. Fox News correspondent Caroline Shively takes a look.
The former acting Democratic National Committee chair absolutely tears into Hillary Clinton and her campaign in a new book out this week. Donna Brazil writes that she thought about trying to replace Clinton and running mate Tim Kaine with then Vice President Biden and Senator Cory Booker after Clinton collapsed, leaving the 9/11 memorial. Clinton had pneumonia at the time, but Brazil said she couldn't do it because, quote, I thought of Hillary and all the women in the country who were so proud of and excited about her. I could not do this to them. Brazil also says a joint fundraising agreement between Clinton and the DNC looked unethical, and that Clinton had too much power over the party during the primaries before she'd even beaten Bernie Sanders. Brazil describes a Clinton campaign that had no respect for her and kept money that could have been used for voter turnout. Here's Brazil, followed by Republican reaction.
I'm not patching the slave because I got sick and tired of people telling me how to spend money when all I was trying to do, I wasn't getting a salary. I was basically volunteering my time. And what I was trying to do, George, was to increase the level of enthusiasm and passion for Hillary Clinton and the rest of the ticket all across the country.
To see such a deck stacked is really pretty jaw-dropping to me. No wonder the Democrats are ticked off. I would be too. It's amazing to me how the Clintons just lived above the law or above the rules in this thing.
But more than 100 former Clinton campaign staffers published this open letter to Brazil Saturday night saying, quote, it is particularly troubling and puzzling that she would seemingly buy into false Russian-fueled propaganda spread by both the Russians and our opponent about our candidate's health. The staffers also said, quote, we do not recognize the campaign she portrays in the book. That book goes on sale Tuesday. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Well, when you do get up tomorrow morning, maybe you got to get out and walk the dog. It's going to be beautiful for you. A little bit on the chilly side. We're at 8 in the morning. A little bit of cloud cover here and there, but 47 degrees. Definitely going to want to take a jacket. And through the afternoon hours will be a little bit warmer. Temperatures into the mid and upper 50s and topping out at 60 degrees. Partly cloudy, will be cool. Generally light winds though, so whenever you get into the sunshine, it will feel even better. Tomorrow will be dry. Not the case for Tuesday, Wednesday, and getting into Saturday. We will tell you. I will tell you why. What's causing the rain showers coming up in your Storm Watch forecast.
Researchers say that they found a drug that could melt away fat. Coming up, we've got your back with how far along it is in testing and how it could actually save your life. Plus, a warning tonight from a local organization. We've got your back with how to protect your money from a fake employee going door to door. We've got your back tonight with health news. Hopefully you enjoyed that extra hour of sleep you got last night, but sleep experts say that the time change has some challenges, and we've got your back with just how to adjust. Plan some morning activities to take advantage of the earlier sunrise because it'll probably be dark before you get home from work tomorrow. Consider shifting dinner 15 minutes later. Also, keeping your kids' room dark in the morning to keep that early sunrise at bay. And babies should adjust in a week or two. Doctors also suggest avoiding strenuous exercise within 4 to 5 hours of bedtime. Your perfect excuse for skipping out. Well, what you call your meal could be reducing your waistline. A new study shows that labeling some foods as meals rather than snacks could cut down on overeating. 80 people were asked to eat a pasta dish presented as either a snack or a meal, same dish. The snacks were consumed while standing from a plastic pot with a plastic fork, and the meals were eaten at a table from a ceramic plate and a metal fork. After the meals, participants were invited to taste test additional foods such as animal crackers and candy. Those who'd eaten the pasta presented as a snack ate much more during the taste test. The solution: call your food a meal and eat it as a meal so you won't overeat later on. A new drug may melt harmful fat away. Believe it or not, researchers think that one dose of a new drug called, this is a fun word, trodosquamine, could reverse the buildup of fatty plaque in the arteries. That can cause a number of heart problems, including a stroke or a heart attack. The drug was initially developed to help treat cancer and diabetes. Next, researchers plan to conduct trials of the drug in humans. Debate over drilling in the Arctic is back open. Coming up, what supporters say has changed in the last 10 years that changes the debate completely.